You know how to do it?
I think so.
Late.
I think it's.
Late.
I think.
What is up? We are back after a 2-week hiatus.
Oh no, guys, we left Brandon in the car.
Whatever.
Crap.
We've got insurance. We're okay.
Somebody, if you see a short
Did you roll down the window?
Did we keep the AC on?
If you see a child that looks like the dad from This Is Us in the car, break the window. And the ironic thing is that, or I don't know if it's ironic, he is actually at jury duty right now.
He's holding himself in contempt.
Yes, he is holding himself in contempt. But we are here. It's a Thursday. We're finally back. I think we're streaming to his channel without it.
We are.
Whatever.
I didn't set it up.
Yeah, I set it up on accident. But a lot of things going on. Let's do the intros. Tree, who are you?
Hello. I'm doing all right, man. Just been busy. How about you?
I've been fine. You went on vacation, is that correct?
Yes, I did. I was in Cali, met up with a few people from the channel. I also had a cousin's wedding there, went to a few baseball games. I also saw San Francisco's Oracle Park. I also saw what baseball was like in a cavern, also known as the old Oko.
Nice.
So it was all good.
Nice.
To my bottom right, I have Tom Grassi. Who are you, and what are we doing today?
I'm Tom Grassi. I don't know if I'm positive. I haven't tested still, but yeah, getting over COVID still, which again, 0 out of 10 wouldn't recommend.
Would not recommend. I think all of us except for Tree have had it because Tree never.
I feel like I've had it before, but I'm not sure.
I was a COVID virgin. Like this, I went out one place, one time. I emerged from my cave, and the Rona got me.
Where did you go? The Wet Gala?
Only takes
I went to a gala, for like a museum. One of my friends is like the COO of a museum, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like really cool. Give me a chance to go dress up or whatever," and died.
Did you have any wine and cheese?
The cheese would kill me, so no, I didn't.
Okay,
have any cheese.
just wine.
Hey, listen, pursed lip breathing. It works.
Yes.
YouTube it.
And then down below, I have this gentleman, Scooter. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm a grown man. The Orlando Magic got the first overall pick. Dynasty starts 2 seasons. Get on board now, okay? Because don't get caught lacking. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll get into that later, though. We
will. Okay, since we've now introduced ourselves, let's go over the main topic. The Commanders. It's so fun to just
the commies.
The Commanders. Yeah, the commies have finally, after many years and letting FedEx Field just turn into the dump that it is, finally get a proposal. If you see the thumbnail of this stream, it looks like a potato chip. Like it looks terrible, this new stadium proposal. And the worst part about it is they're proposing to put it in Woodbridge, Virginia. Now, me as a native of the DMV, that's where I went to high school, that's where I grew up, or at least my formative years occurred there. This is the worst possible location for a stadium. But I want to hear you guys' suggestions. Do you have any suggestions for where we should put the Commie Stadium? And then I'll tell you why this is such a bad idea.
Quite frankly, go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, Tree, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, Tree, you go ahead.
You make me go ahead, dude. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have you ever, if you've never experienced DMV traffic, it is one of the most heinous things you will ever encounter in your life. It is nothing but gridlock on gridlock on gridlock, and that goes all the way to Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland. Yeah, I think the only place that isn't really backed up is DC itself, but that's because the presidential motorcade just clears everything out of the way with an Abrams tank. The main thing too, they're making it, I believe, 45 minutes southwest of DC and the metro. So you have to go through Alexandria, you have to go through Fairfax, you have to go through a couple other places which are loaded and backlogged with traffic as well. So you're doing it just for value, and it is a terrible idea, because if you thought nobody was going to come to FedEx for how crappy it is, nobody's going to go for a probably Rush Stadium in Virginia that needs to be replaced in 20 years by the next owner, because they realize, wait, we're way too far away. All Dan Snyder wants to do is build the next RFK. So why not just go to DC and build your RFK, build your dump, and then just make it as dumpy and homely as possible, so you can have your feels back of the old 80s Redskins.
Before we get into this, I do want to remind you, I don't know who, I think maybe Brandon we couldn't set his up as a charity.
That means he automatically loses, by the way.
Yeah, that means he gets punished for next week. We'll talk about that. But all four of us are doing this for charity. Yes, I already put that up there.
You want to just go around super quick and just list the charities that you're doing?
Yes, I'm doing the American Red Cross. They are.
I am doing the Sandy Hook Foundation, the Bleep Word School Shootings Fund. So
nailed it.
F school shootings.
I'm doing the NCVC, which is the National Center for Victims of Crime. The Buffalo Bills have actually just teamed up with their subsidiary, which is the National Compassion Fund, which gives funds directly to victims of mass shootings to help with funeral costs, therapy, etc. So
serious stuff.
I wish they had something with Evaldo, but unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really update quickly enough.
It happened too recently.
And then I'm also doing Sandy Hook as well. So.
Thank you all. I appreciate you.
Violence.
Yeah. So back to trying to be funny. So Scooter, where would you put? Have you ever been to the DMV, Scooter? And where
I've
would you
been
put?
to the DMV. Okay, I've actually been to that stadium where the Commanders currently play at. Listen, let's just put it like this. It doesn't matter where you put this stadium. You could renovate the old stadium. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're still the Commanders. Dan Snyder is still your owner for whatever reason.
For now.
But, bro, put it in Virginia if you want. It's going to be terrible. Upgrade it where you are now. It'll be terrible. If I were a Commanders fan, I actually would do something like Tree was suggesting and put it in DC proper. Like, no one in Virginia is going to see the Commanders. They don't like you.
Well, Northern Virginia, that's what they're trying to shoot for. They're shooting for the affluent communities.
Yeah.
Which,
And
I mean, Southern Baltimore has those too. Bethesda, Chevy Chase.
Are the affluent community going to be the ones going to these games and filling out the stadiums? I don't know.
Well, that seems to be the model now for when a town gets a new stadium, is to price out
Chicago.
The riffraff. And certainly, I mean, FedEx is expensive, but you see, I mean, plenty, like only the diehard fans go now because they've been so bad lately. You definitely see some interesting character.
Not even the diehards. It's like opposing teams' fans.
Yeah, I've been to at least 10 games at FedEx.
Giants fans will make the trip. It's a quick like hour and a half. Ravens fans, Eagles fans, maybe Cowboys fans fly up. Because they have a lot of Cowboys fans in DC.
Yeah, they actually sell out.
They have a lot of Cowboys fans everywhere because, like I said, we're America's team. But I went to a game there, Cowboys versus the Redskins at the time. And first of all, I was under a little area. AT&T sent me, by the way, shouts out AT&T, but I was under a little like canopy area, but then it started raining. And let me tell you, this stadium is so terribly built that all of a sudden it started leaking in different sections under the rafters.
Cool water.
But this is where it gets good, though. We were destroying this team. Then all you start to hear cowboy chants in the Washington Stadium. It was one of the best activations I've ever done. One of the best times as a Cowboy fan.
The last Skins game that I went to was when Eli Manning was still active, and it was like Kirk Cousins' first full-time season. He threw 4 picks there, and the Giants were up like 48-7.
You like that?
Like that. or Eli Manning rushed for a touchdown in the third quarter to put him up like 35 points. And
absolutely like that.
First of all, it was 90% Giants fans when I walked in, and then it was 100% after that touchdown. Like they just started leaving en masse, and it was very funny. It was quite funny. But anyways, Tom, where would you put this stadium?
I have several ideas about where they could put it. The first is an actual DMV, in that they could put the whole stadium in an actual DMV, just because both of those places are pretty much equally miserable.
Do they have to wait 2 hours to get in line for a ticket?
They have to go and they have to wait on one line, and then they find out that that's not the right line, and then
you got to go on another line and then wait, and then you have to
right, and then you have to take a number from that line and wait.
I feel like there's only a couple places where you could get screwed over as much as Dan Snyder screws over the fan base, and I feel like the DMV is one of those places. So I feel like that's definitely one. The second one that I was thinking about was, considering how terrible the field already is and the amount of injuries that occur on this field, this would be if Dan Snyder sold the team. Jeff Bezos could launch the stadium into space, and they just play in the parking lot, and probably will still have less injuries than they currently have. Those are just a couple of ideas that I'm spitballing off the top of my head.
I like that. I thought that you were going to go for the second location was an actual legal office. So like they could combine the two, like instead of,
they're going to be
DMV, it would be like Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. And that would be the name of the law firm. And they would combine the outer area with just all lawyers to protect the team. And then on the field, maybe a cemetery so that they can bury all the players that.
Well, do you think they're going to build the new stadium like on a Native American like burial ground just because they're like, hey, no, we care, guys, we changed the name, and then they're just going to go and do that? Like,
Who says they didn't build one on an Indian burial ground already?
I wouldn't put it past them. The only other thing I can think of is go to Moscow, go full commies, really embrace the name. That's the only finally go international. And rock and roll.
Honestly, they could just call it the Gulag.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam Azenberg, for donating an A-Pizzle at 90. So the donations don't pop up on the thing, so we can't.
Thanks, gang.
Green them. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will say this. All right, as someone who grew up in the area, that's where I went to high school. It was Lee High School, as in Robert E. Lee. Now it's John R. Lewis High School that I went to. I guess I'm the most famous alumni from there, besides John Engelberger, who played for the Broncos. No, okay. So where the proposal is in Woodbridge, Virginia, and that's actually south of where I grew up. I grew up in Springfield, and so that is like the worst place possible. There's no metro there, like Tree said. It's about a 20-minute drive from DC. If there's no traffic, however, under any scenario, there's never no traffic. It could be 3 a.m. on a Sunday, and there is traffic in Northern Virginia. So the only rail that they have is the VRE. The closest metro station is Springfield, which is another 15 minutes up the road. So it would be a terrible disaster.
The Simpsons live?
What's that?
It's where the Simpsons live?
Yes, it is where the Simpsons. That's where I grew up. I went to the Simpsons' hometown. And also, where they need to put it, they need to bulldoze RFK and just put the stadium back there. RFK actually was not bad to get in and out of. You just knew not to park there, right? If you did it in a way where you just took the metro and you left, you would stand ear to ear with 200 other people, and you would get home within an hour. Now where it is, it takes forever to just leave.
Here's my question to you, Five, since you did grow up in this area. Why the heck are they talking about putting it here? Is it just because they can get this land for cheap? Why would they put it here if there's so many negatives about this area?
Well, first of all, there's nothing cheap about Northern Virginia. So the houses there that used to be $200,000 are now $1 million. So whatever swath of land that they're thinking of buying is probably way overpriced. And I think it's just a leverage thing. They're just like, all right, we'll put the team in Northern Virginia if DC doesn't want to play ball, because I think they're trying to hack hack through the red tape because they know that the old site where RFK is probably the right thing. They just want DC to pay for it.
So there's a minimal chance that this actually even takes place. They're just trying to leverage and get some more money out of the state, potentially. Out of
typical Snyder. Call it the Robert E. Lee Stadium. Oh gosh, that's something. All right, thank you, Henry Callahan, for the $5. Now we got some punishments to get to.
Real quick, about the Dan Snyder thing? What I'm confused if they said that like there was a rumor that was going around that they were actually counting votes, but then Roger Goodell said that he didn't hear anything about that.
Oh yeah, do we want to discuss this? Like, can we bring up this whole dance, or do we want to talk about this later?
We can talk about it. We can talk about it because I've actually researched how the NFL owners have to vote for it. Like, I actually did a video.
Can someone set the stage so if someone just came into this stream, they know exactly what the heck we're talking about? Set the stage, someone.
Tom, set the stage.
It was a dark, stormy night. Dan Snyder still controlled the Washington football team, which then would become the Washington Commanders. But then, a glimmer of light, hope on the horizon, that owners were gathering together and potentially voting the bad man out. But then Roger Goodell was like, yeah, no, I didn't hear anything. So that kind of got shot down immediately. So that kind of stuff and deflated everything.
The way that it works is with the owners, there has to be a 2/3 majority of like agreement before they can really even do anything. I think there has to be a preliminary, like 2/3 majority have to vote just to have a vote to vote another owner out. Like, it's virtually impossible to get an owner out unless he pulls a Donald Sterling, unless he pulls a Jerry Richardson. Now, they didn't really vote Richardson out. He agreed to back out and sell under pressure. It wasn't an ownership. Like, it, and the way that Snyder works is you're not going to get him to voluntarily leave the league. Because nothing is never his fault.
If Snyder ever leaves the league, he is going to go scorched earth and spill every secret that the NFL ever has. I think that's why they're afraid of getting rid of him.
Yeah, that's why
that dude has so many skeletons in his closet. You'd think it was a mass grave for the Black Death.
Dude, he knows where all those Viking Super Bowl rings are. He knows.
He does. He does.
He probably has all the footage about how Drew Pearson pushed off on the Hail Mary, about how Franco Harris was an incomplete pass in the Immaculate Reception, about how like New Orleans had rigged against New Orleans for the Rams. Like, he probably knows all that stuff.
Side note, do you guys get triggered about sporting events that happen against your team that you weren't even alive for?
It depends.
More of when I was a child.
Like, I get mad about Joe Pisarcich, like, not being, like, I wasn't even born at the time, but he was supposed to kneel. All he had to do was kneel and the game was over, and Herman Edwards, like, picked up the ball and ran it all the way back. Like, that
wasn't this before kneeling was acceptable?
Thing possible. Pisarcich allegedly thought that he was going to get blown up on the play. That's why he hesitated. And then I'm like, dude, it's a kneel. That's why they have the victory formation. Anyways. All right, Tree, you have a punishment, I believe, that we need to shore up.
My punishment is having to endure Neil O'Donnell literally giving Larry Brown a salary, and I hope he's getting a royalty from that for the remainder of time. But there is one thing we have to address, and it is my punishment about a certain album review by a certain individual who was supposed to come to Pittsburgh on May 20th, but that got canceled and rescheduled. It got rescheduled.
We're going to send you that concert, by the way.
It's going to be when I'm in North Carolina. So,
cancel the game, guys.
I likely expect that is good. So, no punishment for me. I'm very happy about that. But without further ado, this is a quote unquote review in the poorest way possible about Antonio Brown's paradigm. Hope you enjoy. Hopefully not. Antonio Brown has released a new album. Whole lot of money, whole lot of money, got a whole lot of money, whole lot of money, I got a whole lot of money. Every day we stray further from God's light. With Paradigm, Antonio Brown hired the very best in producers and marketers. It's so obvious. You seriously think AB knows how to spell paradigm? Why the hell does he look like Jimmy Butler on the cover art? I can't vibe and step in this. You know I'm a vibe, she loving this.
feeling my vibe, she know it legit. Private plane, we flying.
One thing you're gonna notice off the bat, the record is well produced and competent. Except for Antonio Brown. He at least didn't rap for half the song, so I'll give it a Bring the Entourage to New Orleans out of 10.
Call that private jet, I'm living on the moon. My business booming, my business boom. Business booming.
I've heard stroke victims more coherent. Record producers probably out here telling him to eat an entire jar of peanut butter before rapping. Business not booming. Pissing away $30 million guaranteed out of 10.
Get my bag, woo, just get my bag, woo. Get my bag, woo, just get my bag, woo.
AB only rapped for about 20 seconds in this song. If you could even call what he's doing that. Best song in the album as a result. 5th round pick out of 10.
Put that on. Put that on. Put that on.
Oh lord, a solo feature. My cochleas are committing seppuku. Enough of coding technology worth millions of dollars, you aren't making AB sound any good at singing. Children are going to bed hungry at night and we're not even rhyming with something. You're telling me to put on? Then this gets a topless AB out of 10.
I'm from the pit, not the palace. I'm kinda stylish. Lifestyle lavish. Jump in the coupe with no mileage.
It sounds even worse when the BPM is slowed below 80. This is the standard. I didn't grow up with anything and work my way to the top song. Rappers from the Roman Empire were spitting bars about this too. Hotter balloon into training camp out of 10.
I do the half a moon. 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 I do the half a moon.
This is all blending into one another at this point. Therefore, this song gets a farting uncontrollably near a doctor out of 10.
She be on that scary shit. That love, that Tom and Jerry shit. Got me chasing cat, knowing I won't cherish it.
In this song, we hear the ramblings of a madman. At least it was quick. PTSD? More like undiagnosed CTE out of 10. Holy it's a hot woman. That means this gets an army of unpaid contractors out of 10.
Chili water, chili water, chili water, chili water, chili water, chili water.
Cryogenically frozen feet out of 10.
I'm from the pit, not the palace. I'm kinda stylish.
It's the same song as before with even more AB. Moving on.
Famous diamonds, baby. Flawless diamonds, Shuki, baby. Shuki diamonds, Shuki.
Hold up. Let me change the B-roll.
Famous diamonds, baby. Flawless diamonds, Shuki, baby. Shuki diamonds, Shuki. Fingers diamonds.
This potential is a jingle, but that's it. Chucking a helmet at training camp out of 10. Every song on this album averages about 2 minutes, but it was a slog to get through. I hated this album as much as the reality of Antonio Brown being a Super Bowl champion. Word of advice, don't quit your day job, man. Oh right, you already did.
Hey, just give me my guitar. Hey, just give me my guitar. Hey, all I need is my guitar.
That's so bad.
Chili water.
It's bad, dude.
Move over to Celine Dion. I want chili water to play at the end of Titanic when Jack is freezing in the Atlantic.
Listen,
Chili water.
Tree, listen. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry for making you listen to that. It sounded
It
like
wasn't you, it was Tom. It was that man down there.
That sounded like
Look, when
one
Aaron Rodgers
Indo
releases his
song.
COVID record and rambles on about all the stuff he's taken, I am making you listen to that entire thing.
That's fine. That's fine.
That was one long song. It was the same song in 9 different songs. What?
Pretty much. Like it's like
Am I missing
the
something?
production's like he brings in a bunch of different rappers who are pretty competent. It's just AB itself is like, oh god, it's so.
I
bad.
would love to see him like play guitar.
Like, he's better than it was better than his last attempt, but it's still pretty bad.
Yo, I'm sorry, Tree. My
music is hard.
No, you're not.
are
Sorry.
bad.
Now, my
Are
question
bad.
is, when he's saying chili water, is it because of the temperature of the water, or is he putting chili in water?
That's-
Does he have
that's
like clearing out the
definitely chili.
sinuses?
That's like
Or is that-
chili.
Yeah, like
Maybe it's
yeah,
like
chili.
maybe it's like the excess water when you cook chili. Maybe that's what he means by
Ooh.
chili water.
yeah, like hot
Oh.
dog flavored water, hot dog
Yeah.
water.
Use
Had
as a
that
broth
before.
later.
High in protein.
Yes, very high in protein.
Yeah.
All right, that is one punishment down. Now we have a second one.
Well done, Tree.
This is a bonus because we've missed so much time. And by the way, Brandon's getting punished for not showing up.
Absolutely.
So,
Even though
and
it was
not
very
even setting
BB.
up his stream for charity.
So because of that, he actually gets the most donations because he got the $20 one.
Yes, so he automatically wins. And yeah, go ahead, Tom. Set it up. What your punishment is, and
So I currently owe a couple punishments. I had to do the one because the Bucks lost, but this was what I could manage considering I've been sick for the past week. So I was asked to do a love letter to Jordan Love, and I have written said letter to Jordan Love. And I was originally going to record it, but I thought, what better way than to do it live with a dramatic reading?
Yes, a live reading.
There you go.
And of course, it rhymes. So
very good.
Let me
I
get
feel like I
ready.
need to put a bed
Let me
underneath
get
this.
ready for
Where's
this.
my
I gotta
guitar?
get situated. Is the
Someone
chili
get
water
Tom's
ready?
Yes.
the chili water is ready.
I just want my guitar.
Tom really needs some Shuki diamonds.
Dear Jordan Love, it is with a heavy heart that I write you this letter. For in the year 2022, I thought things would be better. My hopes were high, but now I fear I must relent. Perhaps purchasing your signed jersey when you were drafted was a bad investment. The question boils down to, are you good? I guess we'll never know while we're in Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood. I had high hopes when you played the Chiefs, but I will admit, your play did not tighten my boxer briefs. I still wish you well, and that's a fact. But now you're not on my mind because of Aaron's new contract. I'll still root for you without it feeling like treason. Because the only time you're actually playing is in the preseason. So for now, your memorabilia rests in a bin until it is proven that you are the heir, Jordan. So keep slinging those spirals high above, for this is a letter to and about love. Thank you,
sir.
Well, that just
That was incredible.
That was very
I'll do
good.
jazz hands. Jazz hands.
Let's give it up for Tom
Wow, that
Voltaire
was-
Grossi.
Thank you.
I give that a horrible regular
That's a-
season game due to
That's a
COVID. out of
Shuki
10.
diamond out of 10 right there.
Just chili water. Chili water.
I give that the other half of the moon out of 10. It's beautiful.
It's the whole.
Was it?
It's the only half, yeah.
What did AJ Hawk say the other day that Aaron Rodgers finally got vaccinated, or who was it?
Yes, it was hysterical.
Bro, what the heck?
It's like that
so-
Dave Rapocchio comic. He got the L vaccine. So
Yes.
he's technically vaccinated.
Yeah.
So wait, what? I'm confused. Were they joking about that? Was that real? What?
No, he was joking. Like,
Yes, he was like, little late, buddy. Little
Oh,
late.
But like
He got the tetanus shot, so he's technically back.
What he's
confirm.
gearing up for right now is the match with Tom Brady, and he called Patrick Mahomes Kermit the Frog. So
to confirm, Aaron Rodgers is still unvaccinated, and that was a joke that AJ.
I believe that was a joke. Yes,
I believe that was
I'm not.
a joke.
I'm not. I was not.
Speaking
I
of
didn't know.
jokes, what is this 49ers press conference incident? And
It wasn't a press conference incident. It's an incident with one of the members of a credentialed media member.
oh yeah,
Set it up
remember
for
that.
us, Tom, because I
Okay,
have
yeah.
no idea what this
Yeah,
actually
so
is.
I saw this yesterday start to gain some leverage. I know McAfee talked about it today, and a whole bunch of 49ers players have come out and
Kittle.
talked about it. So basically, there's this guy. There is a credentialed media member for the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
Named Michael, I say Cohn, I think it's Cohn Zone, whatever. It's a stupid show he does. Michael Cohn, right? So he basically has been trashing Kinlaw for quite some time. And apparently at one of the practices, Kinlaw approached him and kind of stood like up against him, kind of to intimidate him. And it was at that point that Cohn later goes on his show, and Kinlaw winds up joining his YouTube channel and just rips him a new one. Like Grant Cohn. Thank you. Yes. Grant. Thank you. Grant. Not Michael. Not whatever. So anyway, rips him a new one and talks about how his balls are bigger than his and how he is expletive. Really kind of just goes off on this guy.
When did this happen?
This happened
on Tuesday, I think. Right?
Yeah,
it happened on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I heard about it yesterday, but it happened on Tuesday. So that all happens. And so this guy, Cohn, winds up like doing like a promo like from the empty stadium, like after one of the practices, and is like talking. He's like, I wasn't scared of him. He's on his YouTube channel. Like, this is a clip that's going around now saying that people were asking if he was scared when Kinlaw came up to him. And he's like, no, I was just thinking like, if he touches me, I can retire right now as a multimillionaire. So basically what this has led to, because a lot of people were looking at Kinlaw going like, he did not approach this the right way. But you're seeing a lot of 49ers players speak out and be like, this guy's kind of just like a douche. And you have a guy who is actively saying, even if he's joking about it, that's what Cohn is saying. But he's saying that, you know, he's antagonizing players so that they assault him, so that he basically is able to sue him. So I saw this story and I was like, well, this is hysterical considering how difficult it is to get credentialed, like for like a team. And like this guy, because his dad worked in the industry, and, you know, I'm not a guy to be like, oh man, you know, numbers matter, but like this guy has like 30,000 YouTube subscribers, which like good for him, you know, for doing that. But like this guy, like I can't imagine any of us going to, like legitimately going into a locker room, going to a practice and like openly challenging a player and just be like, and then to come back afterwards and be like, it was just a joke, man. He kind of just seems like he's a douche nozzle, like is what that's coming off of. But now you're seeing a lot of people start to like from the 49ers, because I thought he was going to get punished, Kinlaw, but now like who knows, maybe he's going to get his credentials like stripped. I think he's starting to worry about that because now he like put out a video that was praising Kinlaw. So seems like we've done a little bit of a U-turn a bit.
Yeah. Is he a freelancer, right? Or does he work for a media or a print company?
What does he do? He does, I think he writes like something for Sports Illustrated. Publisher of all 49ers, part of Fan Nation on Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
See,
so it's like
here's the thing, like
subsidiary.
Nobody is above criticism, right? Like, but it's the way that you do it, and it's the things that you criticize people about. You know, being around athletes, what they do is incredible. I will never criticize like the actual their athleticism, their ability. But there are things that you can criticize: their work ethic, their dedication to the sport, their off-field decision making, their attention to details. You know,
rap albums.
Yeah, their rap albums, things that are unrelated to sport.
I mean, they are public figures, so they're ripe for criticism, just like the rest of us.
Right, or if they say things that are unrelated to sports, I can interpret and criticize that. But I don't ever will criticize someone's athletic ability because they do things that I could not imagine doing.
Well, I think
in an athletic
I don't think anyone looking at it was like, oh, Kinlaw handled it well, because like he goes at him, right?
Yeah,
like
he kind of broke down, so Kinlaw did not handle it.
Basically, from what I have heard, is that this is something that's been building and building and building. And Cohn literally goes, what comment was it? And he's like, starts listing them off, not with Kinlaw, by the way, but he's like, is it because I said you have an 80-year-old knee, or is it that like they shouldn't have drafted you? Like all this stuff. And I think I don't know, like there's a part of me that like you kind of have to acknowledge who you're writing about, right? Like if you are a member of the media who is credentialed, who is then going in and saying, no, he doesn't work for the, he's credentialed by the 49ers.
Yeah. Tristan Manishmeta. Yeah, I didn't realize he got fired. That dude was a clown.
But it's to basically say all this crap and then get confronted about it. Like,
I think this is a case of one privilege. Let's just start there. So this is a case of privilege, but also a lot of the reporters who cover teams end up like liking those teams. A lot of them like end up becoming fans. rooting for the success of the team, even if it's like their
Defending them.
second favorite team, not even their first favorite team. I think this is a case of maybe this guy doesn't even like the 49ers. Because to me,
sometimes it's tough love. You have to consider.
Yeah,
it too.
I mean,
they
like,
think
to me
they're heading
too,
in the
it's
wrong
like-
direction. You have to sort of challenge them.
It doesn't sound like that in this case. It sounds like he was just going
just
after
based off
Kinlaw.
just based off what Tom has said, it's like even if I don't like a player like Connor Williams, this dude was false starting every other play, bruh. I was still rooting for Connor Williams' success. You know, I'm not over here dogging Connor Williams online saying he's the most garbage lineman possible. Why can't you be I'm not doing that because I want him to succeed. To me, I feel like this dude does not have that same energy when it comes to Kinlaw, especially, and maybe some other 49ers players. But like, I want everyone on my team to succeed. I don't know if that's true for this report.
It's funny though, because like I think a lot of beat reporters actually get this criticism. A lot of beat reporters are not necessarily fans of the team because they're just doing their job. So like, that's the thing. They might not even be cheering for players. They're supposed to just report on the players. Mm-hmm. But like when you're going after someone and being like, they have an 80-year-old knee and like, I feel like it's just, you kind of open yourself up for criticism then because like that's good. And again, I'm not condoning like Kinlaw, like intimidating or anything like that. But at the same time, like if you're going to screw around and find out, like that's kind of the way it's going to go. And I think,
if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
I think
if you're going to do that stuff, you're going to have blowback. It's like
if you're at a point where you're credentialed,
does or Brandon does.
But like McAfee brought this up today, like if you're credentialed, you're in the locker room with these guys, like after a game who are so emotional, like for a big win, loss, what have you. So you're saying that like he can do personal attacks and then they're supposed to answer questions from him. Like, I feel like that dynamic is just like super duper off.
Yeah. So, but let's stay there. Let's stay right there, Tom. You're Kinlaw. You say, and a lot of people are saying maybe he didn't handle this the right way. What the heck? How are you supposed to handle this if you're Kinlaw? What are you supposed to do? This guy's over here writing about you, disparaging you, calling you all types of things outside of your name. You see the dude. What are you supposed to do? Because look, if someone had been writing some stuff about me, I don't know how I would react if I see them in person.
So that's the thing. And that's what McAfee said today too. Like, and I've talked to players who deal with this too. Like the relationship between players and media is always supposed to be, if you're a player, you put on a happy face. And like, even if you don't want to do it, because a lot of people don't want to do it, you talk to the media, you know, they have a job to do. You let them do their job, move on with your life. Like that's it. So, I mean, that's like the I guess the expected way to handle it. And like, again, I don't think Kinlaw should face like punishment or anything. I think that was just expected based off of, you know, what has happened in the past and how he was handling the situation.
Some reporters are heels and they try to get under players' skins. Mm-hmm. I think the way that we should look at this is like, how do we handle criticism of us on our YouTube channels? Like a lot of times someone will say something completely baseless and completely unfair about our work. It's really mentally draining to read the comments.
It happens. I mean, that's part of the trade. Once again, I mean, like people take a dump on me all the time.
Right.
What are you saying? Are you saying that this guy, because in my experience, I don't know if this holds true for you guys, but 9 times out of 10, anytime I respond to a troll on my channels, it's oh, I was just kidding. I love you.
I mean, this is what he said.
I just was trying to get you to respond.
Maybe if this is this is the report. Maybe this reporter loves Kinlaw actually, and just
I don't think so. Imagine if the worst troll of your content who constantly goes in and has negative interaction, even when you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake," or whatever, is outside of your office every day. When you get up from the chair and that dude is standing right there and you're just like
going to the bathroom and he's like, "Hey, a-hole."
Right.
So
get dragged.
So what you're saying is Baker Mayfield can show up in my house and heckle me. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, like your biggest critic is right outside your door, right here, and
Bro,
you
I
have
don't
to
know.
walk by him and just ignore him.
No,
and
he's
you're a
asking
big
you
guy.
questions. He's asking you questions about your YouTube videos.
Right.
After you're so excited for one and it tanks.
Right.
Then he's asking you questions.
Mm-hmm. And telling your YouTube, saying your thumbnails are you have 80-year-old thumbnails. And you have to look him in the eye and just ignore him. Like, that's tough for someone. Don't get me wrong.
We get it. Chat,
if you don't
we
know how to
understand.
handle it, it is very
The
true.
players,
like if you never experienced it, it's easy to really just get rattled by it. It's understandable.
All right, let's transition to the next one. Speaking of ex-49ers, Colin Kaepernick got another workout. He worked out with the Raiders, who I think they have what, 3 quarterbacks now under.
They have Derek Carr. He's your starter. Let me actually take a look at that.
And then you have who else?
I know Peterman and Mariota are gone.
Yeah, so he's got Nathan Peterman and Marcus Mariota to beat out. Should he look good?
Well, they're both gone.
Now, the thing is
they're gone. They're not on the team no more.
Okay.
They have Nick Mullins and Jarrett Stidham.
Okay.
So
Stidham is not
Kaepernick. Yeah. Right Mullins, he's probably going to be like he's probably the backup.
Nick
like
Mullins
I would
sounds like a
take
country
over Cap
singer.
right now.
Like, hey, Nick Mullins is playing.
Stidham is bad. If he can't beat out Stidham, you're done.
Yes.
This is so interesting because I've seen a lot of people talking about this. I've seen people say things like Colin Kaepernick has a better chance of ending racism than he does of playing at QB again in the NFL. But then you see that he gets a workout. So it's like, is this a publicity stunt? But then it's like, why would the Raiders bring all of this negative attention on them if they weren't being serious about needing a backup quarterback?
I think that happened so long ago. People barely remember the details. And I think, honestly, and I know this is still a divisive topic, but still, like, I don't know. It's like
I think people tend to forget Kaepernick wasn't that good in 2016.
And if he just put his head down and played, people would welcome seeing Colin Kaepernick.
You think so? I don't think so. I think this would turn political, unfortunately. Whatever team Kaepernick goes to, we will see some people coming out and saying some nonsense about something.
I feel like ESPN's going to have cameras all over the place. That's going to be the problem.
Yeah, people are still trying to cancel people for things that they apologized for a long time ago and like have moved on from. People still bring up stuff. We have friends that are content creators that, got caught up in things and people won't let it go, but just ignore those. I think if Colin Kaepernick can actually play football and he doesn't kneel, which he said he's not going to do, he said
he's not going to kneel. He said that.
I think
he said that in 2017 free agency. He said he was going to stand for the anthem.
So let's put it to a chat vote, actually. Chat.
So, I mean, I would bring him in for victory formation so he can take a knee. So,
Chat, do you think that Colin Kaepernick will get a job and be on a roster this season? If you believe, comment 1 right now. And if you have no faith whatsoever, 2. And if you're just here so you won't get fined, 3s.
Well, I think it's the argument now is, can he be a backup, right? Because I don't think there's anyone out there going like, oh, well, he definitely can be a starter because he's been away from the game, right? He's in his mid-30s at this point. And, where he left off in his career, it wasn't ideal. I mean, I remember they brought in Kurt Warner to kind of like help him during the offseason, just to get back to the accuracy, et cetera. But I don't think that there was ever... I think if you're looking at Colin Kaepernick and said, well, every single backup in the NFL is better than him, then I think it's just like an agenda-driven opinion.
The thing is, like, you're not getting the 2012 Colin Kaepernick.
No, you're not.
If we were still the 2012 Colin Kaepernick, he'd still be in the league.
But I think at this point, though, like, could Colin Kaepernick be better than a chunk of, or at least some of the backup QBs? Sure. Yeah. He could. Like, maybe. I don't know, because we haven't seen him play. So that's what I think the Raiders are going to look at. The Raiders have been open to bringing him in. They've talked about that. And so now he's doing this workout and who knows? I mean, like, I think it's going to be political regardless. Like, at least in the first few weeks, like, it's going to be a media frenzy, right? It's going to be like, oh, what's Colin Kaepernick going to do until like he doesn't play anything.
It makes me wonder, like, how good does he actually look in these workouts? Because you got a player who is in Cleveland right now with a lot more baggage than Colin Kaepernick, that is very willing, that a team was very willing to just hand the entire keys to their organization to sight unseen, discipline unseen. So so if Colin Kaepernick could still throw dart, like, it always makes me wonder, like, if he had the ability, I think people would overlook.
Who's the Giants backup QB?
It is Tyrod
Taylor.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Taylor because he's younger. That's more
that's
NFL
a great
experience.
backup right there.
Yeah,
Tree, who's your
fantastic
backup?
Plus,
backup
if he gets
is
injured,
probably
if he somehow wins the
Mitch.
job and gets injured, Daniel Jones will become an All-Pro quarterback.
It varies. I mean, the backup right now is Mason Rudolph, but you
Would
also
you
have
take
Kenny Pickett
a
and
Colin
Trubisky.
Kaepernick as a backup QB?
Unfortunately,
have a
I don't
problem
think
with
we
that.
have the space. That's the problem.
See,
Well,
because
you guys just drafted one. You have Mitch, so there's no reason for the Steelers
that's
to do
the
it.
point.
You have
no
Mitch
reason for
Trubisky,
the
your problems are
Packers,
solved.
not really a reason for the Cowboys. So it's going to be interesting to see where the fit would be, because I'm telling you, there are some garbage quarterbacks right now in the league. There's some even worse backup quarterbacks. So there's a spot. Just is it worth all of that? Because it's going to be all of that.
All of that.
I mean, listen, the Jaguars attempted to work out Tim Tebow, and we saw how that worked out, but they sold a lot of jerseys.
They did.
So
they did.
Whoever
As a
signs
tight
Colin
end.
Kaepernick will sell a lot of jerseys.
he'll sell a lot of jerseys. Yeah,
will
no, they'll
sell a
sell
lot of
jerseys.
jerseys.
Yeah, a lot of black and silver jerseys. That's like perfect for marketing. Get the little Nike logo on there. All right. Speaking of the Raiders, John Gruden's case was not dismissed by a federal judge. And the biggest thing that the NFL fears is people finding out how they run things. So if you know anything about law, which Brandon Perna is finding out today about law and his jury duty, which actually we might have just compromised him.
Have you guys ever done jury duty?
We might have just
I have
compromised him.
once. My situation was
I've
that
never
I was
done it.
called in one day a couple of years ago. It was mid-May, I think, 2019. I had been there for about 2 hours. You're just sitting there, okay, I'm waiting for my trial to come in. And then they call me and a bunch of other people into a room. And they come in and say, well, guess what? They settled out of court the day before. You're free to go. So I counted this year of jury duty. So you know what?
All right.
I did my duty as an American citizen.
Civic duty.
I gave my parking fee to the coffee fund, and everything was glorious.
There you go.
So anyways, now that we've set that story up, so apparently this story so John Gruden, remember, is suing the NFL because they fired him because he was the only person that got fired in that whole email.
He was the fall guy. He was
Right?
the fall guy.
Right. He was Chris Carter's fall guy. And he has a legitimate case because only his emails got leaked. Now, if it continues to advance, if the NFL does not settle, there's this thing called discovery where all the lawyers have to basically come to the table and say, this is what we know about what you do. And the other side has to be like, we know about this. And then the judge has to be like, all right, you can put that in the trial. You cannot put that in the trial. Like, it's basically like evidence.
This is where we find out what has been hidden.
Yeah.
What are they hiding over there behind the scenes?
And that is why I think so. The judge refused to dismiss the case because legitimately Gruden, for whatever he said, however you think of him, he said some very awful things, but he does have a case again. And so this is advancing. And the NFL, this is why I think the NFL will settle with him. They'll be like, whatever you want.
Oh yeah, they'll settle.
We'll just give it to you. This is like an episode of Better Call Saul where
So great.
so good.
great.
I'm on season 5. Don't
Do
spoil
I need
it.
to
Oh my god, the mid-season finale. Oh, that just happened so good. So
Do
good.
I need to get back into Better Call Saul? Or
Oh, you
need to
do.
get back. Where
It's a
did you let
slow
off?
burn, but it's so good.
Okay.
It's
I'll
so.
get back.
By the way, thinking about Tree and jury duty, I now want to hear Tree commentate over a trial, and there is an Amber Heard Johnny Depp.
When is that decision to come out?
No. I don't even want to pay attention to that because it is the mindless.
And then she crapped
nobody wants to pay
the
attention to.
I'm just saying it could be great.
Yeah, congratulations, Amber Heard would be a great video.
Or congrats, Johnny Depp.
Yes, or Johnny Depp. It's the whole thing is bizarre.
I have not been following at all.
Apparently both
apparently
sides
she used
look
to beat him
terrible.
up.
Everything that I've
I don't
learned about it has been force fed to me. I have not
just
sought
like
it out.
Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox's relationship. I have not tried to seek out that data, but yet it has just shown up on my timeline for no reason. Like, why is he wearing a Foot Locker outfit and proposing to her? I don't get it.
I will legit I will watch off-season content of you doing voiceovers about like Will Smith and his relationship. Like I will watch that 100%. I will pay for that Patreon tier.
What's next?
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking like recaps, or are we talking like just dramatic retellings?
I think just how you do sports ball is perfect. Just like as you see the crumbling relationships or the court case, like if you just narrate it as sports ball, it's gold.
You should bring back the fat man judges.
No, that didn't age properly at all. So you know what? I don't think that'll mesh.
You gotta go.
People yelling into microphones doesn't work anymore. It's about
Scooter wants to segue here. The Magic got the #1 overall pick. They won the ping pong balls, the only thing they've won in the last 10 years.
I'm trying, okay? Like I actually was able to name 22 NBA teams without looking it up. I'm getting better. Can you explain the lottery to me? Because it is a very foreign concept compared to the NFL.
Okay, we've now made it to the NBA portion of this clickbait stream. Everyone just take a seat. If you don't know about the NBA, let me educate you a little bit. So, typically, how the NBA would work is that it would be unlike the NFL, where the worst team is guaranteed the #1 pick. It does not work like that in the NBA. In the NBA, if you don't make the playoffs, you get into what's called the NBA lottery. Everyone in the lottery has a chance of getting the first overall pick. However, if you have the worst record, you have the highest chance.
How so?
You have the most balls.
Your percentage.
So it's literally like a bingo
ball. Lottery.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is a actual
Oh my God,
lottery.
that's awesome.
So, for example, when the Magic got Shaq back in the day, I think we had like a 0.0 something percentage chance of getting the #1, and we got it. However, because teams have started tanking and they started implementing tanking into their gameplay, the league has responded and said, well, we're not going to give the #1 person the biggest chance because this is hurting ticket sales. Teams are intentionally losing. They're sitting good players. Stop. So in order to stop it now, if you are one of the worst 3 teams, you have the same odds of getting the first overall pick. And it's a tiered system. So
tiered system.
Do they have like a whole machine? Like they turn and everything?
Yes, and a little monkey does it. It's like with an outfit. He's got a little.
With that knowledge, the
tuxedo.
Orlando Magic got the first overall pick.
So were they one of the top 3 bad teams?
Yes.
So they suck.
Yes. Now, except for not anymore. The dynasty starts in 2 seasons. We are loaded. A lot of people are looking at this NBA draft as a 3-person draft. And we are good because we have the #1 pick.
Which looking at player are you going to take?
These are the 3 players right here. Chet Holmgren, lanky, 7-foot white guy.
Mike Holmgren's kid.
Unicorn.
Yes.
This guy could be a unicorn. This guy could be his own thing, or he could be a Porzingis. Right? That's what people are comparing him to. He could be an elite Porzingis, or he could be Porzingis. Okay. Then we have #2, Jabari Smith. This is a power forward, 6'10", lights out 3-point specialist from Auburn. Okay. 3 and D. He is a beast. I wouldn't be mad with either of these 2. And then lastly, there's this. Some people are saying it's a 4-person draft too, but in the top 3, this guy, Jaden Ivey, he's a guard. Think like Russell Westbrook type explosion. That is
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but this dude is a hooper and he can explode. So look,
I thought we were done talking about Amber Heard.
and then finally there is this guy who I would compare literally to Luka Doncic, Paolo Banchero, the guy who got mistaken for Patrick Mahomes.
Kermit the
He's
Frog.
also there, 6'10" offensive specialist, can just score at will at any time. Paolo Banchero. So that's a brief list of the people the Magic will be looking at.
So a follow-up question. I apologize.
Yes.
So, all right. So they pull out the magic ball. Great.
Mm-hmm.
So then do they just like take all the magic balls out and then they just keep on drawing?
I believe so.
To get
It
the
actually
actual
goes
order?
in reverse order. So like on TV when they're revealing it, you find out like who's 10 first, then who's 9th, then who's 8th.
They don't show the actual culling of the balls. They don't.
Yes.
Oh,
They
so it
don't-
could be totally rigged.
It could be.
Oh
fake.
yes. Oh
And
yes.
that's what people
That
are
sounds a
thinking.
little suspect.
Actually, I need to get all of your opinions on this because this actually upset me. This actually upset me. And you don't see this in the NFL. And it was another podcast that was talking about this nonsense. So I want to get your take on this. Another podcast that shall be remain nameless came out and said it was very uninspiring that the Orlando Magic got the first overall draft pick because we are the Orlando Magic and we're not anyone and we're a small market team and we're not going to do anything with it. It should have gone to a bigger market team who would have done more stuff for the league. What the heck? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think that if you lose that many games, like there should be some reward to losing, which should be more losing. Like you should just continue to suck. I think only the good teams should get better, and you'd have to figure a way and scrap your way out of it. The whole lottery system is terrible. I wish they would air the big because. Literally, David Stern comes out, or Adam Silver comes out. I said David Stern. Adam Silver comes out of a smoke-filled room, and he's got the envelope, and he's like, "Yeah, this is the one now." Like I don't get.
Whoa. What was that comment?
What?
It's the fourth time in 20 years the Magic have got the number one.
Yeah, I know they had Dwight Howard.
Penny.
Oh my God,
Was Penny
Scooter.
number one.
No, Penny
Oh.
was early 90s.
telling
that's
you,
not
Tom.
20
Is the,
years.
only
amount-
good team you root for the Lightning? Is that it?
The amount of Orlando Magic content that I'm about to put out is going to exceed all of the content about the Orlando Magic on the internet currently.
Do you
Yeah,
think they
it's
can
only-
make wins
This is
appear?
their
'Cause it
second in
doesn't
20
sound
years.
like
They had the second, the fourth, the
Tom,
fifth.
I'm loyal. That's how you know I'm loyal, Tom. Because
So-
I've been a Magic fan.
20 years. Oh,
And it's our
God.
time.
Yeah,
now.
this is their second in 20 years.
The
But they
Knicks
did
haven't
have,
had a number
our
one since
time.
Patrick Ewing.
Now, don't become a Magic fan after our third championship. Do it right now when I'm telling you to do it because we're about to load up. We're the next Warriors.
Okay.
And
We
then
have
you'll
to
trade
have-
everyone for Serge Ibaka. Again,
Jaguars better than
We're
the
not doing that again. I'm telling you. We're
I
getting
don't
one
know
of those
about that,
four
man.
players I just named. Jonathan Isaac's coming back, and we're off to the races. We have
How
one
would
of the
you
youngest
feel
in the-
about a little homecoming, Scooter, and bringing back Urban Meyer as the Magic coach?
Yes.
Absolutely not. The answer is no. I don't know how this man is still even getting considered for analyst jobs right now. It's really weird if you think about it.
I think
It's a grind.
yeah, he's quite the restaurateur. All right, we got 2 minutes. We've got hockey and NBA playoff updates.
Rangers.
The Rangers play tonight. They evened up the series in
2-2.
New York.
Ooh.
The Carolina Hurricanes are very good at home, so we'll see if the Rangers can steal a game. They're going to have to in order to advance. They would play, if they are able to get past the storm surge, the Tampa Bay Lightning, who looked very good in eliminating the Florida Panthers. So we thought there was going to be a battle of Florida. There was not. And then last night, Brandon Perna, when the Avalanche
He
were up
jinxed
3-0, essentially guaranteed that they would win on Twitter. And even after Nathan McKinnon scored the nastiest goal I've ever seen.
That was gross.
Yes. They still gave up a goal with the goalie pulled,
Yeah.
and then they won it in overtime. So sorry, Perna, you don't talk the smack.
No,
On
it's the
the Twitter.
Perna curse. I'm telling people all season, The Perna curse is real. It just is.
It was
Listen,
the purse.
I just need to know from 5 and Tree. I need to know this. How likely is it that the Bolts will three-peat?
It's possible.
It's very likely. Vasilevsky is the best goalie on the planet. The only goalie that can really compare to him is the Rangers goalie. And I honestly don't think that the Rangers, if they were somehow to get past Carolina, it would be very tough to get past Tampa. I mean, it's possible, but either Tampa or either Carolina or the Rangers would have a very tough time against Tampa. They're so gritty, and they just took the best team in the NHL and spanked them in 4 straight games. So it's very unlikely. On the other side of the bracket, Edmonton could probably take down Tampa, or Colorado. Colorado will get this done against St. Louis, but I think that's the only team that could really give Tampa much trouble. And in the NBA playoffs, who are we going to see in the finals? Because every game seems to be a blowout. I don't know which team is better between the Warriors
Definitely the
and
Warriors.
the Mavericks.
Definitely the Warriors. I think the Warriors get it done tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the Celtics get it done against the
Probably
Heat.
Celtics.
I don't know what Bam is doing. This man, this is the tweet that I saw for Bam. Okay. It's a tweet. Tweet said, Bam Adebayo is as reliable as Nigerian electricity. That's the tweet that I saw. So I don't know.
Wolf.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Wow.
We'll see. We will see.
Wow. He's going to wait for that tweeter outside of his office when he is done with his work.
It was a Nigerian who
tear him
tweeted,
down.
I believe, too.
I think that's probably
the
the scariest proposition. If we made fun of like an NFL player, I think is scary, but just to see a 6'8" man stare me down, I would probably crumble like instantly.
Yeah.
I would just be like, okay, whatever. You're right. You're better than me at everything. Okay, we have made it an hour.
Let's do the countdown. We're all raising money for charities.
Yeah, we'll just do the countdown out of habit.
Yes.
Because
Let's do it. Yeah. This is why you're here, baby.
Get that. Do it.
2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 4. Tree loves Antonio Brown more than ever before. Throwing on his album, listen to that chili water.
You're wrong.
No, you don't.
You're wrong. You're very wrong, dude.
Chili water. Damn it.
Otter.
Oh,
Right,
sorry.
Otter.
Half
Oh my God.
Otter.
Ruined it. Ruined the song.
Chili water.
You know what? I think somebody has to one-up you in that regard. So you know what?
What was the word that Antonio Brown could not rhyme with? Something?
Yes, something.
I would rhyme dumpling with that.
Mm.
Anonymous just gave
How about
$60
crumpling?
to
All right.
charity. I raised $100 flat for the
Nice.
American.
There you go.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Do you know where to see where you raised it? It's in the top right of your chat.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to your chat,
You
Scooter.
just gotta go on your channel, guys. You just gotta go to the channel.
Okay,
How
what
much
you
did
guys
you
get?
raise, Tom?
$1,300.
Wow.
Nice.
Let's go.
I got 845.
Nice.
go.
1300. Good
Let's
job.
go.
Crucial. And then I got mine up to 1,000. So I
Let's
was
go, baby.
Wow.
so
And
yeah,
I raised $100 for the rest.
Let's go.
100
All right,
bucks.
What's Brandon's punishment?
Do we have
Joey
any
Duty?
videos coming out? I released a video about abandoned stadiums earlier today.
Yep. I am working on the NBA Finals Haters Guide. It's going to be as uninformed as heck, and also the probably a couple NHL congrats videos, and also the Antonio Brown Paradigm, the uncensored version, will probably be out in the next few minutes. So kill me. I'm going to lose so many subscribers. It's not even funny.
Scooter, what's going on?
If the Mavs lose tonight, you'll be getting a Mavs fans video
Nice.
on the way.
Nice. Mavs fans reactions.
Yeah, I'm working on the title. Because like I did a Suns fans are in like right now. Suns fans are in. Might be
I
like
have a feeling that the
Mavs
Mavs
fan.
fan is going to be yelling,
Or
"Why
a-
don't you give the ball to Luka every time?" It should
similar.
be-
Yeah, we'll get some
Do it in the
lines
style of Shark Tank.
Yes.
there. Doom, 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 doom,
Yep.
doom.
Licensing deal.
I'm out.
Tom, what do you have got?
I don't know if we're doing GPS tomorrow. If Pern is in court, I don't know what's going on with that, but maybe that, and then Q&A tomorrow, and then I'm working on coach. So.
Oh, and last thing, next week, Tree and I will be in Burlington, North Carolina.
Yep.
Yes,
And Winston-Salem.
The public. It's a $5 donation. They're actually doing it for charity. So all the donations will go to an inner city program to help underprivileged youth. So if you're in the area, if you're in Winston-Salem, Raleigh, or wherever, or close to Greensboro, we're going to be in
Greensboro,
Burlington,
Winston-Salem, that area.
Yes, 5
We're
p.m.
playing the
on
Burlington
June
Sock
1st.
Puppets on June 1st, and then the Carolina Disco Turkeys on the 3rd.
Yeah,
I was
that
going to
game
be
is
there.
closed.
I was going to come out, but I had some other obligations that came up.
That's
So I'm not
definitely
able to be
understandable,
there.
brother. All you're going to miss is me being terrible at baseball and him being less terrible. Slightly less terrible, but
We're doing a meet
it's
and
going to be
greet
bad.
after the game.
You
We're
want
gonna
me
meet
to
all the
bat
people.
leadoff? Why?
Yes, you will bat lead off.
No.
You will.
No.
All right. That's it. That's